Be careful. You might learn something.
Let's go.
You are now tuned in to the Factual Opinions Podcast with your hosts. I am Pharaoh. Straight facts.
What's up, world? Factual Opinions Podcast, Season 4, Episode 19. We're calling this that time of year. It's a beautiful time of year for a sports fan. We got the NBA getting ready to start up in the next week. Football is in full go mode. We got baseball playoffs, and the weather's finally changing for all us that can't stand the heat out there. Everything is wonderful. It's your gracious and humble host. I am Pharaoh, checking in with Will West, the best. Nate.
You know it.
We're going to be minus the Brown Bruce Wayne today. Everybody just keep Big John in your prayers. He'll be all right. He'll be back soon, but he won't be joining us this episode, but he's with us in spirit. We may have another special guest step in his place, so we'll be waiting to see if that actually happens. But a lot of things to talk about today, and y'all have to forgive me because I am experimenting right now, trying to go live on IG as well for the first time. So I'll be doing a little clicking at the beginning of this episode. It may or may not work, but at the end of the day, we are on Facebook Live and YouTube Live as usual. So got Brother Dwan in the house already. That's a perfect segue because I want to talk about my beloved Schroeder Jaguars first out of the gate. I don't know if Brother Dwan and them want me to do this or best AD in town, Brother Newberry, but I'm just going to say it. I'm a little pissed off. So yesterday, the Schroeder athletic director, Don Newberry, hit me up and asked me to help make the announcement that the district had changed the game time for homecoming. It was originally scheduled for Thursday evening at 7 o'clock. And the district bumped us to 10:30 a.m. on Saturday. So I just asked that everybody who is still available come down to Stargell Field if you are at 10:30 in the morning and support my fellow Jaguars. It's going to be rough because I know me and Nate already got plans. You on mute, Brother Nate.
I was gonna say, godly, I'm trying to go to Kegs and Eggs this year. I ain't been, so
we already had our usual thing planned for UC homecoming. I don't know that I can pass it up, but I'm gonna figure out what we got going on.
All right. We'll talk about that out after there. Yeah. I'm starting to feel the district hate y'all, bro. I'm starting to feel that way.
You see, I put hashtag Rodney Dangerfield on there, man. Like, no respect. I mean, this goes back to when me and
when y'all was in school.
Yeah, we're at Schroeder. When we were in first place and league champions, and we were still getting bumped around during the middle of a game week with, times getting changed and scheduled dates and so forth. Now, I could get into the conspiracy theories on why and everything, but we'll just leave it as is. And I hope Brother Dewan and Coach Darren and the rest of the staff just keep winning, man, because that's the only thing that you're going to be able to do to change the narrative and get the respect that we deserve and to do it consistently. Mm-hmm. And Newberry knows that me and Brewski and a few other guys, we are ready to sit in on any of those meetings with MedPace, Fifth Third, Coca-Cola for that stadium. I will throw on my shirt and tie and speak eloquently and plead our case for why they should join the movement. So whenever they're ready to do that, because that's part of the problem, we need our own home field, and there's enough space over there to do it. We just have to make it happen. Yeah,
for sure.
There's already plans. I don't even know if I should be saying this, but baseball team will have a home field very close to the school this year with turf field, new dugouts, everything. So
where they doing that?
Stewart. Yeah, so that's already done and in place as far as the contract part of it. So there are some positive things going on. Also, for everybody who has not yet, there are still tickets available for the first ever Schroeder Athletics Hall of Fame dinner honoring Coach Works and Mr. Brown as the first inductees on Friday. I'll be happy to introduce both of those gentlemen when they get inducted, a little mini speech. So very happy about that. But please go to SchroederJaguars.com and purchase tickets. They're only $15. If you want to get real fancy, tables $100 to seat 8 people. We really want this to be something that we start a very good tradition going forward that endures, and to honor, like I said, Coach Works and Mr. Brown in general.
Yeah, go support them Schroeder folk over there.
Yeah, so absolutely. So, hey, man, there's definitely a lot going on, and I want to talk about baseball because that's on right now. We don't spend much time on it. I know the MLB is cheesing right now. First of all, we got Terry Francona hired as the Cincinnati Reds manager.
How do you feel about that?
Yeah, we didn't talk about that. Yeah. I'm actually excited about it because baseball managers can get up there a little bit in age and still
do what they do.
Yeah. Uh-oh. we got
William.
The Schroeder Jaguars head varsity basketball coach in the house. Young G-Money. What's up,
brothers?
What's going on, William?
Not much, man. Not much.
Glad to have you on, man. Perfect timing. I just got finished talking about how we have the Schroeder Athletic Hall of Fame dinner on Friday, inducting Coach Works and Mr. Brown. I hope to see you there too, Brother Will, man, by the way.
I might make an appearance. I don't know.
See?
See how he said he just flash in and flash out?
I mean, even if Brother Will just graces us with his presence, I mean, I don't care for 20 minutes. It would help build that community and camaraderie that we're trying to build, Just like when we show up for Brother Will's basketball games to support him. So
I show up and I get put to work.
That's a fact. Yeah, I'm gonna put you to work.
Yeah,
I'm gonna put you to work. That's for sure.
Yeah, well, he definitely put me to work last year. I thought I was just gonna.
I put y'all to work.
Yeah, you did.
Enjoy the game.
They had the same responsibilities you did.
Yeah, man. But no, Brother Will, we would really like to see you, man. You work in the building, and
might make an appearance, man. You never know, man.
I ain't even guaranteed. That William know that's how I feel about him. He ain't showing up.
That's wild. That's wild, man.
Probably ain't, man. Sitting here chasing this tradition of that school to Madison Road got. Don't know if we ever gonna get there, but all you can do is try, man.
Nah, man. I think it's going back in the right direction, man. I think it's going back in the right direction. We had a major hiccup for about 6 or 7 years at the top of the place, but now that stench is removed, we're moving back in the proper direction, man.
I'm still mad at bro. He hid my jerseys, bro.
See, Brother Devon said, "Well, if you need help this season, he's open to it, brother."
Man, I need all the help I get. Juan, we deal with the same kids, so I need all the help.
Bro, he hid my jerseys, William. He hid my jerseys. The day before a game, Alex, the day before a game, this man hid my jerseys.
All I know is he told me it was going to be a whiteout, and I specifically went out and bought a white polo for the occasion, and then he hit me up and said, "Hey, man, the jerseys ain't come in."
Hey, look. That wasn't my fault. That was not my fault, but you're right. I owe a lot of people, man. Y'all two are But as long as I owe y'all, I'll never be broke.
I mean, like I said, I was happy to do it, man, because like you said, a lot of the same kids that played football, played basketball, and just to be back in the building and show the kids that people outside of people that they see every day care. That's really. And then obviously, it was Brother Will's first year back, on the court side, as head coach, so wanted to support him and Triggs and Cookie, all the cats that we grew up with and went to school with, over there. So that part, I never
I
complained.
knew when Will went back, I knew the first day I walked in there, he's gonna put me to work.
Yeah, it was my birthday though.
It don't matter what it is, Alex. William Johnson does not care. You gonna have to do a little something around.
And then didn't come out and get a drink with me afterwards, man. But
he don't even go, bro. He go home and drink wine, bro. That's all he do. He go home and drink wine.
Hey, that's crazy, Al. I owe you. Then. I can't believe I did. Now I would do that. It was birthday. You did me a solid. I can't believe I didn't do that. And I'm being 1000% genuine. I can't believe I didn't do that. But I was charged up. That was the first game of the season. I was charged up. So I was on cloud 9.
December 1st. So now
you can make it up by coming Saturday. There you go.
We were talking about how Newberry asked me to announce what the district did again to Schroeder, and I just spoke a little bit on it. I didn't go Mick Cronin on him because I know y'all get scared of that. Y'all don't want no repercussions or whatever.
Yeah, you got to tread light, Al. Tread light.
But you know what? That's why they asked me to do it, though, because I'm connected, but I don't have an official connecting to the school. So, but I try to keep that in mind because I don't want no extra smoke for my gentleman over there on Duck Creek. So it is at 10:30 on Saturday. Me and Nate are probably already going to be down in Clifton. I can't give up all my personal life, man. So,
Yeah.
No, that's for sure. I mean, it's unfortunate. Nothing is idealistic about it. But based on certain scenarios, certain situations, and how things go, movement has to be made. Like I said,
why does it always have to be at Schroeder's expense?
Well, I will provide you some pushback on that. Every school this year has been
it's been adjusted everywhere.
Yeah, they done had to adjust. It's just not been Schroeder. Schroeder may have had to do it the most, but honestly, one of those occasions, like we talked about on the sideline, one of those occasions it had to be done. It was too high. It just happened. Bad location. You got to make that decision. Yeah. But everything has had to be adjusted just based off the social climate right now. And at the end of the day, safety is going to trump
athletics.
Our wants. Yeah, it's going to trump our wants at the end of the day. So I'd rather them have to get up early in the morning to play a football game than a little something unfortunate happening.
Well, my opinion on that and whether it can be ultimately stopped or not. I was a little disturbed because, I mean, just in general, I found out last weekend that the young man that got shot for Woodward was actually my friend Los's. That was his son, Zyrenzo.
Oh, wow.
That got, shot. And I didn't even know that.
Mm-hmm.
So it hits a little different when it's somebody you actually know. It's unfortunate, and then the situation in North College Hill because you got Conway over there, you got Josh Ellison, who went to school with, coached with him, at Purcell and stuff, and their season was affected by it. I just need people to control y'all kids, give them something constructive.
I think we need more parental control at the game. I know it sounds vague and it sounds like, but I feel like parents I think they need to make it a requirement. If kids want to come to games, they have to bring their parent to at least one game.
Yeah, But yeah and no, right? I mean, I'm very, very big on as parents and as community that we have to, we have to take our youth back. We have to be more active and different things like that. But in all realness, man, the more and more you sit back and you think about certain things, man, this is the toughest generation of parents in right now,
It
man.
is for
Like
sure.
it's a lot of distractions that the kids have that we didn't have when we grew up, nor did our parents have. It's a lot of distractions that the kids and the adults have, man. And the influence of social media in our reality. I don't want to blame social media for everything, but the influence of social media has impacted us all, and it has not all been in a good way. Um, every day you got people telling parents how to parent. On top of
Yeah,
that, you got the world saying that you still got to live your life, and then on top of living your life, you got to look good. You gotta get your dough up. You know what I'm saying? And then you got a group of individuals saying, forget them kids, do you? So as a parent, as a person, you impacted by all of those different things at one time. You get caught up in certain things lack, not making any excuses for the parents, but at the end of the day, parents got a parent. But one thing that we had growing up, it was community.
yeah,
Like, it was just a certain level of respect that was instilled in our kids, that was instilled in us, that has not been instilled in our kids, and that we really got to look at the mixture of both, like tough parenting, hardcore parenting, and also a little more understanding. Like, you got to mix them both, um, in
I
order for
think
things to
this
go in the
generation
correct way.
cares too much about being their kids' friends.
Facts.
Also,
yeah.
like you said, a lot of people from our generation as 80s babies or whatever, we complained about our parents being too strict, or the people that raised us. And really, when I look back on it, I don't think that was the case, honestly. I just think we were
It's
a
called
little
structure.
spoiled, and yeah, and structure that does not exist now. And you see the
Mm-hmm.
byproduct of that.
Mm-hmm.
At the end of the day, and society has changed. I'm a little bit old school. As I say, I'm Old Testament. Spare the rod, spoil the child. Is another situation that we endure because I was talking to one of the security guards that does the chains down at the games. Not last game, but game before that. She was talking about how the kids openly, cuss her out, mock her, call them a broke, what, all this other stuff. And it's like I said, well, if they don't have any fear, respect, or accountability at home, how do you think they're going to get it elsewhere? If they don't respect their parents, they're not going to respect, other adults. I've heard some of the
That's a fact.
conversations and things that they say to their parents. And I'm like, hold on, bro. If I said that to Big Dave or my mom, like, bro,
We'd be 2 weeks removed.
like I would
Two
be
weeks
here
removed.
right now, man. Like,
Yeah, like I'm a firm believer. Just a couple of small things that you just got to change. Like, just bring, in my opinion, this is just my uneducated opinion. You bring back yes, ma'am, no, ma'am, yes, sir, no, sir, and just watch your language around adults. It will really change the whole complexity of everything. You know what I'm saying? Like this year, um, I'm doing more of just checking kids' language. Hey man, you can't say that, and I don't say it that calmly, in full transparency. But at the end of the day, like, just checking their language. And now it done got to the point, and I only been starting this for the past 2 or 3 months. Now it's going to the point where they check each other.
Yeah,
Like, they check each other. Like,
that's
we
good.
was walking in, somewhere today, and kid was rapping, had his AirPods in, he was rapping, blurted out a profane word, and adult was walking past, and he caught himself like, oh, I'm sorry. Like, a couple of months ago, they'd have just kept rocking.
Kept it
So I
moving.
just think, yeah, it's just little stuff
Rapping the
like that.
lyrics and
Just
kept it moving.
yeah, yeah. So
What's up,
it's
Daryl?
he
my
said
man.
accountability first and foremost. From what I see, a lot of parents they accept and excuse a child gives them that. And I remember, a time where
Get well, Daryl, man. Get back
parents
home, man.
parents were on the authority figure side.
Mm-hmm.
Now, like Chris said, his sister AD over at Schroeder, They be like, "Oh, call my mom." You know, they want them to call their mom over there because the mom is gonna side with them. You know, back in the day, like, bruh, don't call, don't call Big Day because he gonna be mad.
Don't call my mama. Don't call Michelle. I'm old. I'm in
He
the
gonna
flow.
be pissed off just because of that. You know,
Yeah, just because of the phone call. The phone call go piss them off. It ain't you. I'm at work. You know I'm at work. Why they
yeah,
calling me? This is what it's gonna be.
No, that's a fact. No, that's a fact. But it's just that instant level of discipline. Like we just have to start doing it. And I also think in our reality, and people don't really agree with this, but I do. I think at the end of the day, we have showcased ourselves too much to our kids, where they see us and they don't look at us as necessarily just parents and as adults. They see almost every aspect of us. So they look at us in a different way. It's almost like a friendship point of view. You know what I'm saying? It's not that separation between um, parent and sibling anymore. Like I don't think they look at it as a friend, but they almost look at parents in the lines of siblings. And I think it's because we expose too much of ourselves and not the truthful aspect of it.
what
And,
Rob
and not
said.
and not exposing ourselves in a way to for them to learn, but almost for them to mirror themselves after. So I think um we just too cool. Like we just really just like too cool. We don't really want to be what our parents was because for some reason we felt as though our parents weren't necessarily good parents. But at the end of the day, like our parents, they kept us away from a lot of stuff. You
They
weren't
did.
allowed to certain things, hear
We
adult
weren't allowed to
conversations.
be in the party. We
Yeah, you
had
know what I'm
some at the
saying?
house. Stay
Mine
in
were.
that
You
room.
know, it's not that they were perfect, but when I look back on it,
Yeah,
they were damn close. Because I used to get mad, like, but why I got to tell y'all everywhere where I'm at all times,
Yeah,
and blah blah blah. And it's like now I look at it, and it's like, you know, for good reason, brother. That's why you
yeah,
but
should
it's fun.
be here.
It's funny to me because these kids have cell phones. You can follow them. You can track them. You should know. And parents don't be knowing where their kids at. My
still.
pops knew where I was at with, you know what I'm saying? He couldn't follow me, this, that, another. Like it was, hey, I'm gonna be here and I better be there. And it was just a level of respect. And it was just a thing like you're not gonna like I grew up under the mindset like I'm not gonna embarrass my my family. I'm not gonna embarrass,
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying, my parents, my brothers, all of like it was just a community. Like I ain't want to embarrass nobody. So, you know, I restricted a lot of stuff. I also kept a lot of stuff you know, on the low and away from the situation because that was just important to me. Like
yeah.
certain things were just important. So,
I'm gonna give y'all a
but
moment real quick before we switch it up. I just had a conversation with Chase. Chase was like, "Dada, you being mean to me." I said, "I'm not here to be mean to you. I'm here to be your dad, not your friend." Like I have to have that. My son's getting to that age where I have to have that conversation with him. Like, bro, I ain't gotta be nice to you. I do things just to protect you, or because you ain't paying attention. These kids don't pay attention to their surroundings or nothing.
Well, like I said, and we just spoke on it. There's too much. I'm trying to be cool. I'm trying to be too transparent. What Robert Harris say, he's like, "What's wrong with you? Don't like Dolomite? You grew up on it, you know." We let them watch and are exposed to things that they probably shouldn't be either. But a lot of that is out of our hands now, like we all said, because of technology and cell phones and everything else. You know, it's really hard to restrict a
Yeah,
lot of. We didn't have a lot of access to certain things. You know what I mean?
true.
Like you had to
that's the
really
word.
after it, you know, to find it. But you know, it wasn't just there, man. It's a click of a button for them right now.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so that's part of it. But we want to get to the Feast de la Resistance, what we was getting ready to talk about. Nate asked me what I thought about Francona becoming Reds manager. I think there's a lot of championship pedigree. He's managed in some big time places for the Boston Red Sox, Chicago Cubs, I believe, and the Cleveland, I'm still gonna call them Indians, as well previously. And
The
look who
Guardians.
just here, the
The
Cleveland Indians.
Guardians.
And he was Michael Jordan's manager for the Birmingham Barons, you know, the most circus chaotic minor league program probably in history, just because of the presence of Michael, being there. So I bring that up to say that, he's managed in some places where distractions were, aplenty and did just fine. And I think he'll hold people accountable too. He'll have immediate credibility walking in the clubhouse because of where he's been, because of what he's accomplished in being a World Series champion. So I think it's something, the Reds need, honestly. So I'm definitely on board, with the hire. But right now we have more blue bloods in the playoffs. We have the Dodgers in the National League taking on the New York Mets, which I want to bring that up because it was just at the beginning of the season that people were calling this New York Mets team the worst
Terrible.
professional baseball team they ever seen. And they've now turned it around and got to the National League. And I could argue that the Reds have, I won't say just as much, but very close to the amount of talent that they have on there. Yep. So sometimes it does just take the right person pressing the right buttons. And of course, on the other side, the Yankees, the evil empire, is back in it against the Cleveland Guardians, as y'all want to say. So
they're beating them up right now.
Yeah, the MLB is probably happy about that because they might get a Subway Series.
Yeah, that'd be crazy work.
Yeah. So what do y'all think about baseball playoffs? I kind of treat this like the NBA playoffs. I feel like this is the only time of year where they get serious and the games are actually entertaining.
I think that the Mets is the sleeper right now. So I think the Mets might sneak into the World Series. Everybody wants to see that Yankees series. The Dodgers did not look good last night. They didn't hit. Ohtani went 0 for 3. Mookie Betts was 1 for 3. Like, the hitting ain't there against that Mets pitching. The Mets have a lot of people don't realize the Mets have some of the best pitching in the MLB. They was like top 10. So you got to pay attention to these things and I feel like the Yankees, they bats just start working again because they went on a drought for about a good month. They went back to losing games for a minute. But they clicked as soon as the playoffs hit. So it might be possible we get a Subway Series to revive baseball. Might be.
I'm a blue blood supporter. I don't want to see no underdogs or none of that. I want to see prime time. I want to see the Dodgers and Yankees just like it was back in the day with the Brooklyn Dodgers and New York Yankees, or I want to see the Subway Series, the marquee, the two New York teams, man. So that's what I'm rooting for right now.
I'm gonna say this: the MLB does not want the Dodgers and the Guardians. I'm gonna tell you that. They do not want the Dodgers and the Guardians.
The Guardians don't look good. They've been consistently. They got some of the best hitters in the league. Don't get me wrong. Cleveland's had the best consistent across the board hitting lineup, but it's their pitching is really screwing them right now. So I don't even see the Guardians getting past the Yankees.
Their don't look good. It don't even look good on the front of the jersey.
There you go, man.
It just looks corny, bro. Like it's the Guardians. But go ahead.
But I do like the fact that, like you said, baseball wise, the blue bloods are in there. The Yankees, Dodgers, Mets, and even Cleveland. Like
Cleveland, you consider Cleveland one too.
Yeah, for real. So at the end of the day, I think that's good. I like the rule changes that happened with baseball and sped the game up a little more. That made it a little more exciting, a little more watchable. Yeah, and it made it more watchable in our reality. Even though around postseason is where everything kick up, like you said in the end, like it does in the NBA. But I would love to see a Subway Series. I'd love to see a Subway Series.
Has that ever happened?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Was it 02 or was it 2000?
No, I'm talking about in a World Series.
Yeah, it was 2000, I believe.
It was one of them Derek Jeter rings.
Mike Piazza in there.
Yeah.
Yep, you're right. Right. I forgot that was a World Series.
And the Yankees won. Well, we might as well go ahead and get to it and pivot. So there were a few things I wanted to talk about, but we'll go on over to football. So first of all, it was a tough weekend for me.
Yeah, get it out the way, bro. Go ahead.
Friday, I watched my beloved Jaguars play Cincinnati College Preparatory Academy for essentially what probably will amount to
The champion of the
EMAC
league.
championship, league championship. And it was nothing all the way till 6 minutes left in the fourth quarter. And the only score of the game, man, we had a snazoo. My man B Mac was trying to
Pick
squeeze
six.
in there and had a pick six occur and took it back. But the only thing that pissed me off really was listening to their fans and coaches after the game act like they did something. And I won't get into some of the particulars that I heard or whatever, but I'm just like, bruh.
I heard Jeff Daddy was out down there. Jeff Cargill Daddy. Shout out to JC, man. I
I'm
heard
like,
his dad
y'all
was down
won
there
because
acting
of a
crazy.
pick six. Like, stop
Yeah, I heard he
acting
was
like
down there. I heard he was acting
or
crazy.
it was 42-0. Like, stop, man. I got a gift, man. And our kids play hard, man. They really did. To the very end, and still even after that, drove down to CCPA's. I think 30-yard line. Before it stalled with like a minute left, and we turned the ball over to them on downs, man. So it was a tough game. I think the players knew that it was going to be a 4-quarter game. We just came up short, man, and it was heartbreak. Now, and I just knew the next day that I was going to get my get back when my state university took on the University of Oregon. Now I'm about to go on a rant here for a couple reasons.
Go ahead.
Can I comment on the shorter game before you get in?
Go ahead.
I just want to say,
Brewski in the house.
I just want to say the boys play hard. In anything, man, when reaching success, you got to go through those little trials and tribulations. I'm proud of this team though. Like I'm proud of the football team. They still got 2 more games to go to end the season 7-3, which is a great turnaround from where we came from last year, man. I look at the team, I see the success, I see the hunger. Coaches are doing a good job, man. It's those tough losses that you hope
Don't bring
brings
it
the
down.
team closer together, and you hope becomes the driving force in order for them to reach success. It's tough. I think for football, basketball, all of our sports, man, we got to learn how to win, and we have to be comfortable with winning. And it takes a while. It takes a while, but the turnaround has been great, exciting, great players. Kids are becoming not just better football players, but just better people, man. And I've seen how football this year had a success, that had an impact, positive impact on a couple of my basketball players. So, man, I think it's I think we're in the right direction.
Shout out to Moody and Christian and a few of
Come
those
on, don't
basketball players that Will is talking about. But no, seriously, I do want to. I want to piggyback on that before we transition because I made a comment to a few of the players in particular because they were devastated. Obviously, after that game, they put a lot, into it. They understood, what was at stake. But like I told them, I said, "Hey, man, y'all still are going to the playoffs. Number one, with your record. Number two, you do have the opportunity to equal the second best record in school history that I was a part of, that 2004 league championship squad. So yeah, still have a lot to play for, but it was disappointing. And I understand because I've been in that situation before. Like you hear that at that moment, but you really don't want to, hear that. Like it's, a tough situation.
I think they can win the division still.
They can, but it's going to be tough. I mean, they both still have to play. Speaking of them and CCPA, Dayton Christian.
Mm-hmm.
The problem is, regardless of what happens, CCPA has the tiebreaker head to head. But it's not impossible. They have to keep playing. They have to, take it week by week at this point. Like I said, either way, they will go to the playoffs this year. So I'm proud of them regardless. I'm proud of Darren and, his staff and Dewan and the rest of them for, holding them accountable, keeping them, locked in. So that is a great transition point. Want to get back to where I was going.
Oh, Jesus.
So the next day, I witnessed my Buckeyes travel out 3 time zones to Eugene, Oregon, and play a program that I really don't particularly care for a number of reasons. When I think about the University of Oregon, and yes, I'm going in on a little bit on them. They won the game. Let's get that, out the way. But it's not my favorite program to watch for a couple reasons. Number one, I don't feel like they play real football. I feel like, they play gimmick, read option, basketball on grass, pretty boy football, which was actually initiated by our current offensive coordinator, Chip Kelly, when he was the head coach at the University of Oregon. He started that play in the
Chad Penning.
The uniforms and all that other crap that, the players that go to Oregon are intrigued, by, because there's a type of player. Now, the reason I bring that up, though, is because they're kind of hard to prepare for leading up to the game. Like, you have to get on the field with Oregon and adjust when you play them, because they do have good athletes. And like I said, they're very fast and athletic. But I'm not so mad at Oregon, because I feel like we'll see them again, as Maurice Clarett said, in Indianapolis on a neutral field. I feel like they played the game of their lives, and you saw their head coach with how animated he was after the game, with that victory. And I still don't think Ohio State played their worst game, but it certainly wasn't the best game of the year. And they lost by 1 on somebody else's home field, that was, supposedly the number 3 team in the country. So it wasn't a bad game to watch, I guess, if you were, just a football fan in general. 1-point game, 32-31. But I really actually want to talk to Buckeye fans alleged Buckeye fans that have really been pissing me off the past 4 or 5 years with these unrealistic, uneducated opinions. And I'm not talking about real Ohio State fans that know football and know the program history. I'm talking about these fringe people that, say stupid stuff. I had to edit my own mouth, like, oh, the Rose Bowl was just another game, and these other comments about Ryan Day, and now Will Howard, is supposedly trash and all this other stuff. And I'm like, what game are you watching? Will Howard made 2 mistakes during that game.
The whole game.
When the Buckeyes made that red zone stop and could have went up by, 2 scores, and he took his eyes off the snap, and dropped it, killing that drive. We had to punt it back to Oregon, and it turned into, continuing to be a back and forth affair. Okay, that one. And even at the end of the game, I don't know that I necessarily blame him as much as maybe even, and I hate to do this, Ryan Day for mismanaging the clock. Will Howard probably could have got down and slid a little bit earlier and called that timeout, but whatever. I'm like, and now
in the play of action, you can't look at the clock and be doing what you're doing.
I'm not gonna single out one of our brothers, Will, that said this by mentioning him by name.
Uh-oh.
But he said something to the effect of, that's why they should have got Cam Ward and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, that's your take on the game? That's what you think the difference was? Cam Ward is exactly where he's supposed to be. Shout out to you. Do what they need to do to bring themselves back. Less people will go to sorry, Dewan. Less people will go to Alabama if the U gets back to where they need to be. It wasn't a bad game.
Roll Tide struggled too. You can't.
Well, that's my whole point, though. Like, at the end of the day, because everybody got the 12-team playoff that they wanted, which y'all know I was not a fan of. This essentially does not matter. Just like Alabama's loss to Vanderbilt is not going to matter at the end of the day.
Not at the end of the season, it ain't.
Does it give you less room for error? Yes. And when it comes to Ryan Day, all this criticism about another big game and he didn't get it done, blah blah blah, like that is just garbage. I still feel like Ryan Day is going to exercise his demons and shut a lot of people up. I mean, this year. We're still talking about a missed field goal versus Georgia away from us even having a different conversation than we're having right now. It's a game of inches, man. I think they're going to be fine. I really do. This is not me being a homer or anything else. Like, I think they're going to be fine. And if they're not for some reason, because here's the thing with Ryan Day at this point, maybe I can't defend him. Maybe it is time to put up or shut up. And some people have a reason to be upset. But what does it come down to, Will? It comes down to that last Saturday in November. He either is or ain't going to get it done. And if he don't get it done this year, he might as well just keep walking to the parking lot because at that point,
man.
I'm still not saying that he should go, but you have to be realistic. If he loses 4 straight against that team up north, this year's contest will be played in Columbus. There's a new athletic director that does not have the ties to him that Gene Smith had. Did not hire him. You still probably have the best talented roster in the nation. If he doesn't get it done, I'm not saying, I'm just being realistic. Like, he's going to be shown the door if he doesn't beat Michigan. And then we don't have to talk about all the other stuff, because if you don't do that, then you might
agree with that.
You might be in jeopardy of not making the playoff. We don't know how the rest of the season is going to pan out across the country and who does what. But if you lose that one, again, you're not in the Big Ten championship. You lost to them and Oregon. It's going to be a problem.
I got a couple questions.
Yeah.
The first question: what do you say to the people in the world who feel as though that was Ohio State's first real competition this year, and maybe they ain't what we think they are? Just ask you a question.
We're basing that off playing another top 3 team that you lost to on the road by 1.
I'm asking.
That's
I'm asking what the people saying.
I'm answering your question by asking another one.
Okay.
Because
I personally think Ohio State's good.
All I heard around the country, even people that were just being objective or aren't necessarily Ohio State fans, was like, man, that was a hell of a game. That's all I heard.
Really? I heard that too.
Now, I did hear
that's all I heard, yep.
I did hear the founder of Barstool Sports, who's a Michigan alum, by the way, make his little parody and everything, and then people fell for it and laughed. I'm like, well, what do you expect from him? He's clearly biased. He never played football a day in his life, and that's how he makes money, is by trolling and making stuff like that, which I don't take him seriously. But go ahead with question number 2.
Question number 2. Last play of the game. Who do you blame that on?
Ryan Day.
Why?
The simple answer is because he didn't know the rule about the offensive pass interference and that the clock was going to continue running at that point, which puts you in that scenario. He thought the clock was going to be stopped, and he admitted that after the game. So now you have Will Howard in a situation where, unfortunately, he panicked because of the result of what happened, and they tried to call a quick, hitter where they could get the ball out, and call that timeout, and nobody was open. So he didn't have a choice but to do what he did. Maybe he should have slid a couple seconds, earlier, but like, I don't blame the kid for that, in my opinion.
Last question. If he lose, so you're saying if Ryan Day loses to Michigan, it's just over?
It has to be, Will. And you heard me defend him to the core, though.
I got you.
I am not a Ryan Day hater.
So if he, this is going to sound like I'm being funny, but I'm not. So if he beats a damn Michigan team, but doesn't make it to at least the semifinals of the college playoff, he's safe with that roster?
No. That's just my opinion, though.
He beats Michigan, wins the Big Ten title, and maybe loses in the first or second round of the playoff. Y'all bringing him back?
It's gonna be hard for him to exist in Columbus. I'll say that.
Okay.
His life's gonna be hard.
Can you imagine him going to the grocery store
Hey,
with his family?
Those are all of my questions. It was a great game, though. It was a great game. I was at the edge of my seat. I think that just clutch plays coming down. Even I don't know if he did this on purpose, but they say he did. Even if the coach put 12 people on the field. Oh, no, he did because he rushed him in, put 12 people in because he knew it was going to be a 5-yard call just so they don't get nothing deep. And the time went off. I don't know if he did it on purpose. I mean, I'm going to assume he did it on purpose. That was a great play. That was a great move. I'm sorry. I can't knock you for that. That's a way to manipulate the rules. I remember Marvin Lewis did that one year against, I think it was Tampa Bay. He challenged his own. He challenged.
Yep.
And won the game based on that.
Yeah.
I think, Will, at the end of the day, it was a great moment for the Big Ten, not necessarily us Ohio State, fans, but it was two top 5 teams, I would argue, in the country that played each other. That's a great environment out there at Austin Stadium. Oregon did what I expected them to do, but like I said, I am not, because I don't do this to college players, I'm not going to single anybody out, but I am going to say that my man Denzel Burke had a tough outing.
I agree with that.
His draft stock may have took a
hit. Took a hit.
Game. Well, the only reason I bring that up, and again, is not to, pile on him or anything, but the 2 touchdowns he gave up, I know one for sure, but I believe both of them were on third down.
They were. Both third down
when you're trying to get off the field, and they were 40+ yard plays. Because I've heard people talk about Jim Knowles' scheme and say, "See, here we go again. The defense is being exposed, and now there's some supposed internal beef that Land Holy Grant, one of the top Ohio State publications, posted about Jim Knowles and defensive line coach Larry Johnson not getting along, and maybe Larry Johnson has passed his prime as a coach and all of this. So it's pure garbage to me and a little bit insulting, but I can understand what they were referring to about the type of scheme that Jim Knowles wants to run versus Larry Johnson, who, I mean, how many defensive linemen has he produced from Penn State to, Ohio State that have gone on to do great things? He does require his guys to win their one-on-one matchups. What I will say,
he does hold them. He holds them very accountable to that.
He does, but we got 2 stud defensive ends that came back for their senior year. Both of them were the top players in the country coming out, and JT Tuimoloau and Jack Sawyer, and they recorded no sacks.
Yeah,
on Saturday. Dare I say, and again, I hate to do this, both of them have actually kind of underachieved for what they were expected to do when they came to Ohio State. They're going to have to be more leaders, and even if it doesn't show up in sacks, they're going to have to apply more pressure going forward, especially when Ohio State does play teams that are as good, or I don't think there's a better talented team, but just, like for instance, in a few weeks when they go on the road versus Penn State, which I expect to be a very tough game. So they got a bye week to figure it out. But basically what I'm trying to say is, for everybody that's acting like the sky is falling and this is just the worst possible scenario ever, I'm like, please stop.
Well, that's what happened when you've been spoiled. But if Ryan Day loses to Penn State but beats Michigan, what happens?
I I don't want to say that because this is where people call me a buck nut or pause because I know Will's on here. I don't want to answer that question, man. No, the reason I say because I had a former friend or associate who I don't really talk to anymore, but he would ask me similar questions and I would say stuff to him that he thought was crazy. Like, man, I don't care if they go 6-6 as long as they beat that team up north, at the end of the year. And he said, "What? You really trade a national championship for a win versus that team up north?" And I would never answer the question, but I'm just gonna say, if you don't get that done, there's a stain that exists, and it just mars the whole season. Like 2 years ago, they should have beat Georgia. Everybody knows that, and won a national championship. Would I have been happy with it? Yeah, but I'd have had a problem.
So hold on. You would have been happy with them winning it, but you would have had a problem about it?
Yeah.
Why?
Because they didn't beat Michigan that year. Because they didn't beat Michigan that year. That's crazy. I'm gonna tell you this. I think Ryan Day is national championship or bust in Columbus.
I agree.
I mean, that's the pressure that.
Now, I will say this. I believe that if he loses to Michigan and wins the national championship, he's going to resign. But that means he got fired. I do feel like if he loses to Michigan this year, it's over. It's over. Just because the fan base is not going to let that man survive in Columbus.
With a losing record against Michigan.
But
I agree.
But I do believe that even if they beat Michigan this year, he got to win that championship. This is going on what, year 4 or 5 where Ohio State is the top 2 talent, both sides of the ball.
He can't run from it. At the end of the day, it's in his contract. That's the funny part. Like, people don't understand. Like, beating that team up north, that's part of his.
That's part of the contract.
Yeah.
And Michigan got one on your watch. I don't care if you said they cheated or not. Michigan got one on your watch. Yeah, you better win that championship, Ryan Day. I'm sorry.
That's part of why they can fire him with or without cause. I mean, that's actually.
I think he lost 3 games in his whole career. We lost like 3 or 4 games his whole career as head coach.
He's like, total, I think he's only lost 8 games since becoming head coach in 2019.
I thought it was less than that.
No, because like Big Ten wise, he's only lost to now Oregon and
Michigan, right?
Michigan 3 times. So that's 4. Then you got
Georgia, that's 5.
Then you got Georgia 5, Clemson in the playoff.
Lost to Penn State 1 year too.
No, he hasn't lost to Penn State. That was.
I don't think he lost to Penn State.
Was that the year? That might have been the year before he got there.
Championship.
Okay.
I'm trying to think if there was somebody else. Was that 8?
I thought that was 7. You said 5, then you said Clemson. Georgia was 5, Clemson was 6, Alabama 7. But if it is only 8 games, man, that's still a great record. But yeah.
Man, there are schools around the country that would kill to have Ryan Day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of schools.
And that record.
That's why I wouldn't replace a legend. I don't care.
It just so happens he came after Urban Meyer, who was a perfect 7-0 versus that team up north, and he came after Jim Tressel, who was 9-1 versus that team up north. Both of them have national championships, so
I would not replace a legend.
Yeah,
I
It's
would
like
not.
my man down in Tuscaloosa that took the job after Nick Saban. Like, it's impossible.
Like, I don't want that job. I don't want that job. I don't want. I mean, I'm surprised Shire took. I wouldn't want the job after Coach K. I don't want the job after Greg Popovich.
Nope.
Well, you know what? You can't take the job. Greg Popovich had a couple of losing seasons, so
Yeah, but
Yeah, he had redevelopment, but I think they're gonna make the playoffs.
they owe him that. Oh, by the way, I don't want to transition totally away from football, but so this is the last year of NBA on TNT. I'm gonna
that
miss
sucks.
Ernie,
That sucks.
Kenny the Jet Smith,
So,
Shaq, and Sir Charles Barkley, because on no other network, and Sir Charles is going to retire, but on no other network can Charles Barkley talk about the women of San Antonio the way he does on TNT.
I don't. But see, that'd be my issue with money, man. That'd be my issue with money, man.
Yeah,
Certain
man.
things are more
That's a
important and
good
bigger
thing,
than a
bro. That's a
contract
good
and a
thing
check,
going.
man. Like
That's a
certain
good thing
things you
going.
just leave alone, man. Certain things just have an imprint. It's a part of the culture. And I don't think at times you ruin culture just for $1, man.
That show has
Like
been
a
on
lot of the
since
times
1989, man.
yeah, man, that's a part of the world, man. We pimp ourselves out. Like we really, really pimp ourselves out. And we look back at
And they're going back to
hindsight and
NBC.
realize that it was a mistake.
Yeah, but it ain't gonna be the NBC that we grew up,
No, it ain't.
watching. Ain't no Marv Albert, Steve Snapper Jones. I doubt Bob Costas is on there. The big redhead Bill Walter's gone. Hannah Storm is doing her own thing. I don't even know. Is she still on TV? Does she still do Sports Center? Like, it's not gonna be the NBC that we grew up. I doubt they even bring the theme song back.
No, they ain't bringing that back either.
They need to.
They should.
But like Will said, it's all about money because it's about streaming rights and stuff now too. Like, they're gonna have games on Peacock, I guarantee. All of that, and
that's the whole reason they're moving to NBC, because of Peacock.
But yeah, and what's funny is Shaq always laughs like he knows the truth because he went to high school in San Antonio, so. I don't want to get factual opinions in trouble or nothing, but and it's all jokes, but I think it's hilarious when Charles does that, man. And he talks about
it's funny when he starts talking
churros,
about
man.
the women in
Them
San
churros,
Antonio.
man. They be eating them churros down there. No, but I'm gonna enjoy seeing them for the last year on here. But you see, I got the New York Knicks on today for Nate, man. I think they coming for your Celtics this year, man.
Pause. I only did it because Will.
That's the Will Johnson.
Man, I think I'm gonna be honest. I still think y'all step behind. Because y'all gonna have to get them boys to jail first.
I know it's
Will
just
always like Will's biggest thing is you got to learn to play as a team. I don't think y'all gonna play as a team
again. I know it's just preseason, but have you not watched?
I've watched. I've been watching a lot of preseason. Everybody keeps talking about Milwaukee, and I'm like, Milwaukee's young now.
All I'm saying is
a lot
look
pieces.
good to me. What I've seen, the Knicks look good to me. The pieces fit better than the one
last season. I think I've only watched 2 games though with them, and then by the time I watched it, it was like second quarter. They took all the starters out.
But what about when Karl Anthony Towns takes people out of the post like Joker and stuff?
I think this is a perfect fit for his game, Paul. For real.
I say this.
The basketball coach's opinion on the acquisition. What do you think about Karl Anthony Towns going to the Knicks?
Paper wise, I think
good.
it's a perfect fit. It fits. Yeah. It's a perfect. But does he got the New York Knicks toughness? And that's where it's going. That's where it's going to come to play.
Because as soon as they
thing
start
about
scrutinizing him, it's gonna be over with.
the thing that happened with the Knicks last year is that they had that 90s grit, grind, toughness that you love. And barring any injuries, they could have made it to the finals last year, real talk. Because they were just tougher than everybody. This Carl Anthony Towns got that toughness in toughness when it's needed and when it counts. And I ain't talking about the toughness where he's gonna be willing to fight and mix it up and all of that. Nah. Do you got the toughness to go down there and get that tough rebound? You got the toughness to okay, we know you the so-called greatest big man shooter ever, but to run off that 3-point line and attack the rim.
And go get a
Can you
rebound.
play defense when it's last 5 seconds and they set the pick and they switch you on Jason Tatum? Can you guard Jason Tatum for 5 seconds and not let him get a good shot up? Do you got
No.
that toughness? Do you got that
No.
want? Do you got that
He
will?
showed
Do you got
enough
that
grit to
dog?
He showed enough grit to beat the Joker last year in the playoffs. Now, granted, he had Rudy Gobert to help him, on the front line. But
That's what I was just getting ready to say. Y'all ain't got Robinson until January.
I think the Joker,
Michael
He ain't a
Bridges,
big fan. Will ain't a big fan.
you don't have to be a big fan. I don't necessarily like him either, but he got game.
Yeah, he
my
definitely
dog gonna
got
be
game.
better than him this year.
Michael Bridges is gonna be the most underrated.
He's gonna be the X factor, bro. He gonna get y'all over the hump.
Season.
He gonna get y'all over the hump because he can guard anybody at the 3 and the 4.
Where is the? I always look at this. Who's coming off the bench? Who's gonna be a spark when you need them off the bench?
The Cincinnati boy,
Michael Bridges.
McBride. No, Bridges starting.
Bridges starting.
Is he starting?
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
Bridges
him and OG
OB's the 4. OB's the 4. You got Carl at 5. You got Markel at 3. I don't know if they
Brunson
are.
at 1.
They might. Yeah, Brunson at 1, and then they
Are they
might
gonna
start
start Josh
McBride
Hart?
this year.
Josh Hart is the 2.
Nah, Josh Hart is the 2. He can play the 2 this year.
I mean, you know what? For the home team, I hope McBride come in and be that spark. But that's the only thing that I look at for the Knicks is that depth.
Yeah. After McBride, who you got?
That's my only thing. I think they got what's my guy, man?
They got the guy that was out there with the Suns when they went to the finals, and he's been having.
Yeah. The one dude, he looked like he like the thing off of Ice Age.
See, here we
What's
go.
His name? I forgot his name. Nah,
Come on, man. You know his name, man.
I can't think of it right now, man. He used to always do little ugly dances with Russell Westbrook. I can't think of his name, but I know he over there.
Darius Garland?
No, boy.
Hold on, I'm looking it up. Hold on.
But yeah, they got him, but Campaign. Payne.
There you go.
Payne. But
Payne, you right.
I mean, okay. That's not scaring nobody.
Yeah, that ain't scoring.
See, the thing about Boston.
Cameron Payne, Landry Shamet is underrated.
Oh, Shamet over there too. I forgot. Shooter. That's a shooter. You hate him because he looked like a Keebler elf. That's all you did. That's why.
Nah, man, I'm just looking because he's saying these names. He's trying to say them with confidence because he's a Knicks fan. He's trying to say them with so much confidence.
These are complementary pieces. I didn't say they were stars, but I'm talking about
no. Even as complementary pieces.
I like them better than the thing we had last year. I do.
What? I can understand why you. I think losing Dante gonna be tough, man.
That's the one that hurt.
I think losing Dante gonna be tough, man.
That's why he was so mad because like, bro, I was a true piece to this. Like, bro, what are you?
Because I think you could start Dante, and then you could bring Josh off the bench.
Which you can't have the whole Villanova University on the team, man.
Hey,
man. That's why he was going off on Jalen Brunson daddy.
Hey, I don't know, man. But
that's why he was going off on Brunson daddy.
It's gonna be cool. It's gonna be interesting. I still don't see. I think the league is. I don't know why the league don't rock with Jason Tatum. I don't know what he
They
did
hate
to
him.
folks.
They hate him.
I
They
think
hate
I think
Jason
the
Tatum.
my early MVP is I'm 50-50 on Anthony Edwards and Jason Tatum. One of them two will be MVP.
The Ant-Man. Well, before we get back to Joe Burrow, because I definitely want to talk to Will about that. I have to do it. I almost don't want to say anything, but so let's talk about my other team out west, who, in the words of Coach Jim Mora, did diddly poo this offseason, except everybody's favorite Family Matters move. Dalton Connect and a wasted second round draft pick.
That's harsh. But that
You
fits you.
call it a
Harsh but
waste.
real.
Jesus.
You said
Call it a
waste.
waste.
Harsh but real. Bronny
Damn, Al, you call that shit a waste? My man,
ain't even gonna post a triple single, as Charles Barkley would say. Yes, it's a waste because if you have a team that has LeBron James, even at his current age, when he's gonna be 40 this year, and Anthony Davis on it, and you try to win a championship, and you blamed everybody from Coach Frank Vogel to Darvin Ham to now you bring in JJ Redick, LeBron's podcast host, and you draft his son. Paul Pierce had a great take on it. Now, yes, he's a Celtic, but he was born and raised in Inglewood, California. And he stated that
grew up a Laker fan too.
Lakers were not trying to win championships anymore. He said they were trying to sell tickets or do what, appeases a specific player.
I'll say the Cowboys of the NBA. Go ahead.
Basically, does anybody see the Lakers making any significant push this year? They kind of just are what they are at this point.
No, they a mid-season trade team. I see it. I see a mid-season trade happening.
For who?
Exactly.
It's gonna be the thing we got to figure out, but I don't know where they go.
What do you give up though? Like,
what do you have to give up to get a piece that's gonna make you a championship contender?
Vanderbilt. That's one.
What?
Get rid of Vanderbilt.
He did that first year, but he essentially.
Time out. No. You missing my point. What do you have on that team to give up that's going to bring someone in to make you a championship team? You're gonna trade Vanderbilt for another Vanderbilt.
I give you that. That's right. That's true.
What's your most valuable movable asset, D'Lo?
Yep, probably.
No.
Anthony Davis.
That's not gonna happen.
In the words of Kendrick Lamar, you gotta let the party die.
You know who I wanted traded, but everybody said it was blasphemy. So,
well, LeBron.
Yeah, a few years ago, when you still could have got something for him.
I think he will never do it. The Lakers will never do it. But I think if it's a team that has an opportunity to win a championship, I would let the party die. I would burn it up.
But see, now he's got a no trade clause.
I think we to the point where the Lakers was before they went and got Shaq and drafted Kobe. I think that's where the Lakers at now.
See, but
like Will said, let it die. He gone next year. You can ship Bronny wherever you want to ship him.
See, but I had a lot of LeBron fans, or Bron sexuals as I call them, that jumped down my throat when I said that, pause, a few years ago. Because they were
you and my boy Matt Patton. Matt hates LeBron.
Oh, see, and again, that don't have nothing to do with what I'm, saying. I just want what's best for the organization. I don't care about necessarily individual players' needs and wants. And at this point, I felt like moving LeBron a few years ago would have been their best chance to bring in additional pieces and start over.
But who would you bring in if you ship LeBron?
You can't now because he's 40 and nobody's going to give you anything significant. But what I'm saying is,
I don't know. You still might get something for this 40-year-old man.
He would have to waive his no trade clause, which he's probably not going to do. And at this point, again, like Will said, who do you bring in? Like, you trade for a bunch of those Cleveland cats, them young cats that said they back to Cleveland.
Oh, listen
Nah,
to this.
man.
Listen to what I'm about to say. Hold on. Listen to what I'm about to say. If they would have did it in a good time frame, they could have shopped the big market to Anthony Edwards. Him being in Minnesota, that's a small market team. They could have shopped that for Anthony Edwards. You don't think so? They could have got Ant-Man, and they could have probably got somebody else out of that. Nas Reed, somebody else.
If
But
I'm
it's a small
Minnesota,
market.
if nah, because if I'm Minnesota, I'm not trading Anthony Edwards for LeBron James for a possibility of a championship, and now I don't wasted the next 15 years of my franchise. Nah, because if you trade LeBron to Minnesota, then it's guaranteed that they're gonna win the championship. It's not a guarantee,
Yeah, it's true.
especially with Rudy Gobert. There's no spacing. LeBron needs shooters around in order for his game to flourish. He
Well,
doesn't do
no,
well
hold
with it.
on.
He
Minnesota
doesn't do
did
well with
have
it.
shoot. They do got shooters. They
But
do
no,
got a
but
few
what I'm
shooters.
saying is, what I'm saying is, you got to play Rudy Gobert. So that means you're only gonna play Rudy Gobert opposite of when LeBron is in the game, where you're gonna play LeBron 38 to 40 minutes a night. I just think I just don't know if that I don't know if that can happen. And then and you also make everybody on Minnesota team turn into just spot up shooters, and that's not how they run their offense or what makes them good and tough right now.
Because let's go ahead and I'm gonna admit this. Anthony Edwards is probably the next big thing. Let's go ahead and we gonna admit that. My
I
thing
think
is,
and
LA could have made a move on him before he signed that long contract.
So I think at the Anthony Edwards may be the next, but I think Anthony Edwards have to get to the point where I think we like Anthony Edwards, right? Like we
Yeah,
rock with him. We like his demeanor, how he carry himself. He reminds us of a late '90s, early 2000s type player with his attitude, how he carry, conduct himself. Um, but I do think that he got to take his game to the next level too, which I think he's willing. I think the Olympics helped him out a lot, and I think he will definitely get better. That's why I think he may be the MVP this year. But now LA just gotta let it die. But on another note, I mean, we all know. Hey, listen, I'm not the biggest LeBron guy, but I am very very high on nepotism. Sorry, people may not like it, but I love it. I feel like as African Americans, as Black people, we need to utilize it more, because that's what almost every other culture and race and nationality does. But it was dope. I don't
hey
care.
Al, this the HBCU in him, man. That's what it is right now.
Here you go. But I will say this. It was dope seeing them on the court together. It
Yeah.
was like,
Don't get me started on that because you know how Will is about his.
come on, man. I came in peace. I didn't even take off my work. I didn't even take off my work Carlton sweater, man. Like
Yeah,
I'm
you
just
still got the
Nepotism is
happy hour special on.
nepotism is one thing, but what I wanted to say is the LeBron fans jumped down my neck a few years ago when they didn't make that trade for Kyrie Irving and give up those two first round draft picks, the 27 and 29 picks. And what I was saying from a Lakers standpoint and looking out for what was best for the organization, I said, you don't even know if LeBron James and Kyrie Irving are going to be playing in 2027 or 29. And if they are, I can guarantee you they won't be half of what they are right now.
For sure.
And
Kyrie's slowing down now.
and the
I
Lakers
ain't gonna hold you.
right back in the same situation they were, pre-Kobe, where they didn't have any picks or anything to upgrade the roster and were just relying on if they draft picks hit, but they were so young they couldn't contribute. So I did not think that was a smart thing to do, and I'm glad that the Lakers did hold on to those picks, because to me, anything outside of finding a way to bring LaMelo Ball to the Lakers, I'm not really for at this point, because he's the only one I think like would be like box office. He's from there. LeVar has learned to quiet down some, now, so it wouldn't be like it was when Lonzo, was there.
Now he a Laker. I agree.
I
Melo
think
is a Laker.
he's a serious upgrade, man. And
But I do.
He
No,
might
go.
He might be the only one that you could like really like Charlotte to take something for him. You get a package of D'Lo and Vanderbilt, and you might have to give up Austin Reeves, which I know the Lakers don't want to do for some reason. And you might be able to get a LaMelo. They're not gonna pay him in Charlotte. Let's be honest. When his rookie deal, come on, man, he gonna end up like another Kemba Walker.
But nah, I do. I mean, true. I do think Melo is a Laker, but I don't think it's really nothing that the Lakers can do. They're just trying to sell tickets. I wasn't a fan of Bronny being drafted. As from a basketball standpoint, I wasn't, because I didn't think that he didn't show me a lot in college. I think he needed another year of college to really trust, to lead and to hone his skills. But from a nepotism point, and just from just overall just sitting back and just looking at dope things, that was dope, man. Seeing your son, going out on the court with your son, having to pass you the ball in the professional game, man. I feel like that's just dope. That's just dope and amazing to see. As a man, from a man point of view, just looking and seeing that, it's like that's almost, I ain't gonna say that's every father's wish or goal or anything like that, but as a father, shoot, Nate. Imagine when you and Chase can be on the same court playing, running fives, going to 16. Like it's just gonna be different.
Like dang, bro, like dang, I'm out
here. Like you gonna pass on the ball, like your son, like you may be able to throw your son a oop or something like that. Like that's just live and it's amazing. So I did like that, and I'm not the biggest LeBron fan or anything like that, but I just thought that aspect of it was dope. But I won't call Bronny a waste of second round pick. I would use another adjective, but I feel you.
You
would spit my drink out, bro.
You would use another adjective. That's because you're not a Lakers fan.
Right.
You're not thinking about what's best for the organization.
Excuse me.
The fact that you have had second round picks like Jordan Clarkson, or people that were very close to being a second round pick like a Kyle Kuzma come in and contribute, but you chose nepotism and for this la da da family moment that everybody wants to make. Like that's how you end up in the situation that the Lakers are in.
Right? That's a fact. That's a fact. I agree.
Dr. Jerry Buss would have never done this. He's rolling in his grave right now.
Hey man, God got a sense of humor, man. He put Chris Paul on the Spurs, and I'm not a Chris Paul fan at all. He put Chris Paul on the Spurs, bro. God got a sense of humor.
That Chris Paul reverse trade back in the day that originally set the Lakers back.
I don't know. We say they did, but they would have lost Gasol and Odom. But at the end of the
Will says that this is all I think about, man.
Liberty Mutual customized my car insurance, so
I can't fast forward to it, but I was gonna play the theme song to the Family Matters. Like because y'all are really making this into a heartfelt moment, and that ain't.
I'm not trying to.
Nothing to do with nothing. That's not good business, man.
I agree. I 1000% agree, but still,
definitely not. It's not right for the business. That's for sure.
Yeah, like I agree. Basketball move wise, it was not a great decision. It was much more things that they can do. They were not in a position where they can. You about to make me use the word waste, but
Hey, bro, don't
they
cut
were.
that. I know exactly where you're going, Al. Do
Hey,
not cut
look,
that
they
off.
were not. They were not in a position to not bring somebody in that could contribute. But I'm sorry, man. It and it's tough for me to give LeBron credit. I ain't even gonna hold you, but just to I don't know. I can see things from both sides because I would love to have the power to be able to say you're gonna draft my son.
That's all I hear when y'all talk this up like it's a good thing, and I'm like, what the
No,
hell?
it's not a good thing, but it is dope to see us. I'm just looking at it from
Al's staying
the
there. Yeah.
standpoint. I'm
Al's
looking at
being a
it from a
businessman
standpoint.
right now.
Yeah, like and listen, I just look at it from the standpoint of being on the court with your kid, y'all playing a professional sport at the same time. It's dope. It was dope when the Griffies did it, but Ken
Yeah, you know
earned
why it
his
was
spot.
dope?
He
Because
earned
both of
his
them
spot.
were dope. You
Yeah,
talk about Ken Griffey Sr., a 2-time World Series champion, and then his son, a
who was the number one player?
one-generation.
I got you. I agree. I agree. After I said their names, I said Ken. I said Griffey Jr. deserved it. He deserved that spot. But at the end of the day, it's over for y'all. Y'all just let the party die.
You know what? There is one thing I agree with LeBron on, though, when it comes to this. Bronny's going to be all right either way. Yeah, I remember hearing him say that.
For sure,
like,
he is.
If that's the case, then why would you handcuff your team and you're supposed to be all about rings at this point and winning and stuff? Then why would you do that? Let him go be all right and do whatever it is that rich kids want to do. Be an architect, go to school, not go to school, live off daddy's money. Do whatever you want to do because, like you said, he's going to be all right anyway.
LeBron been done with rings ever since he sat on his show and said after he won the bubble championship that he was the greatest. Ever since he said that, he been done
When he
with rings.
said that, I knew it was bad business.
He was done. He was done.
So moving on from NBA talk, Joe Burrow decided to put the game in his own hands and just take off. Did y'all see that face he made after he scored? That had me weak though when he flexed and did the little,
Put it on
He
the
reminded me of the
real
Joe.
quick.
He reminded me of the Joe that played at LSU, right there.
Yeah, but you also
and then he took off his helmet and he still got that blonde hair.
But you said he need to go back to being Joe Shiesty.
He do.
I ain't gonna hold you. He might need to go
blonde
back to
hair,
Joe
because blonde hair, Joe, even though his stats and everything look amazing and great, I don't know. For me, when I look at the Bengals team, it's just that they don't have that it factor that they had in those
But it's just
back-to-back
not
years.
him, Joe. I mean, it ain't just Joe. That defense is really they've
Nah,
killed us in multiple games.
Joe. It ain't got nothing to do with Joe.
That's what I'm saying. It's killed us. This defense.
Okay, this is how I feel. Okay, this is how I feel.
It's got to do with that Joe that's in Houston. Now go ahead, Will.
We ain't even about to do that. Look, this is how I feel. This is how I feel. The Super Bowl year and the year after the Super Bowl, even parts of last year, when Joe stepped on the field, I felt like they got a shot. Like it didn't matter who they was going up against.
You better make Amber get up. I'm just letting you know. You better make your sister-in-law get up. She about to get up and come in here.
Wow, what felt like think?
What's she about to get up for?
Because she go probably let you have it because he did what he was supposed to do this week.
Hold on. What I'm saying is, saying is, in those years, as a Bengals supporter, fan, whatever you may have been, when Joe stepped on that field, you felt like, oh yeah, the Bengals got this. If you get close, they got this. They got this. It don't feel like that no more.
Why don't it feel like that anymore, Will?
Why?
It has nothing to
You know,
do with
okay.
Joe Burrow.
You know what? You know what I think? I think everybody has got just the
Don't
Bengals
say we
aren't
got
a humble.
comfortable. We didn't get
No, the Bengals aren't a humble, hungry team anymore. That's the problem.
Can I bring up a few points? Man, we
Absolutely, it's your
Go
show.
ahead, Al, because I'm ready to go. I'm
Nate,
ready to go overboard.
what is that in your cup, man? That look good.
OJ and tequila. I don't know why I'm on tequila right now.
Okay. Make sure you save me some next time I'm out there.
All right, I got you. I got you.
Could it be that Jesse Bates plays for the Atlanta Falcons? Could it be that Joe Mixon plays for the Houston Texans? Could it be that DJ Reader plays for the Detroit Lions? You know, could it be that maybe this is not the same team? That's all I'm trying to say. Like, it's not. Could it be that Tyler Boyd plays for the Tennessee Titans?
Hold up. Because this is what kills me about you Bengals fans. Don't tell me that it's about the team when every time you try to give anybody on that team credit outside of Joe Burrow, y'all look at the world like they tripping. It's Joe Burrow or bust. That's what every Bengal fan has been telling me for the past 3 years.
No. Hold
up.
The players I just named were very
I haven't told you this.
To the Bengals going to the Super Bowl and an AFC championship the year after.
I 1000% agree with everything you just said, but Bengals Nation don't look at it like that. It's Joe Burrow or bust. So don't tell me about the auxiliary pieces. Don't tell me about nothing else. It's Joe Burrow or bust. When the offense has a great game, oh man, look at Joe. He's amazing. He does this. He does this. Oh my God. In spite of Zach Taylor, this is that another. Joe have a bad game. Man, oh my God, Zach Taylor is horrible. The defense is horrible. This is that.
Colin
Come on, man. I'm tired of hearing that, man. They're either gonna be a team. They're either gonna be the Cincinnati Bengals or Joe Burrow with stripes.
That's the name. Said it best. Joe does give you a chance every time you step on the field, but he himself is not enough to win a championship.
That's the best way to say it. And then we blamed him for the loss with Baltimore. A lot of people blamed him for the Baltimore.
Ain't no we, because I didn't. Will did, but I didn't.
A lot of people blamed him for the Baltimore loss because he forced that pick.
Because I don't understand how the Bengals were winning at that time. Baltimore got a field goal out of it, tied it, and I went over this with Will because he made this status.
Yeah, he did.
It was so bogus, man, at the time.
It wasn't.
All right, Joe. Minute 40 left. 3 timeout. Shut me up. How can he do that when he gets sacked on first down?
He did get sacked.
Which completely changes your thought process at that point. And then Zach calls 2 of the most mundane, nondescript plays on second and third down. You punt, you go to overtime. Lamar Jackson gives you a gift in fumbling the snap. We don't even have to go over this again. 3 straight runs.
We had our conversation.
3 straight runs.
Y'all talked to Aaron about this?
Yeah, we did. 3 straight runs. Shout out to Big John because we went to MVP Sports Bar over there in Silverton. Drank our sorrows away after that. 3 straight runs. And then, because football is a cause and effect game, the holder drops the damn snap. And Scooter misses the field goal.
Because Zach Taylor's got 3 runs. He affected the holder.
Hey, man.
Why can't we blame Zach Taylor for that, Will?
Stop. Y'all not letting me finish. Yes, because you're not going for the win. Because you're being conservative. Now, I know it's years ago. Nobody cares anymore. But look, if you go back and you watch the FX highlights of the Bengals in the 88 Super Bowl against our former offensive coordinator, Bill Walsh, who should have been the head coach here, but that's another issue. Sam Weiss goes for a field goal and says, we're aiming for a field goal. We're going to go up 16-13 here and try to hold on. What did Bill Walsh and Joe Montana say when they got the ball?
Pew, 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 pew.
Bill Walsh said, I'm going for a touchdown.
Yeah.
Joe Montana was so cocky, he walked out of the field and said, hey, look, there's John Candy in the stands. Because he knew what he was getting ready to do. It's a different mentality. Like,
Well, we also dropped the game with an interception, but go ahead.
Go win the game. R.I.P. Lewis Billups. He did drop the game-winning interception and never was able to live with himself after that, which I understand because I would have felt the same way. But you don't give Joe Montana a second chance.
Facts.
But they were going for a win. They weren't going for a damn field goal. Yeah, that's my whole point.
Maybe Zach. Listen, this is all I'm gonna say. Maybe Zach Taylor knows something that we don't know. Maybe Joe. Maybe he looked at Joe and was like, "Joe ain't got it right now." Maybe it was the wrist. Maybe his wrist hurt, and Joe wasn't able to go out there and throw those 3 passes in those situations, so he had to hand it off 3 times.
It's crazy that he leads the league in touchdown passes, even with that bad wrist. But
listen, what I'm saying is
clearly is not 100%.
Okay, this is my thing. If Joe has control of the offense, like they've been saying, he can call audibles. If Joe walk up to I seen him call an audible.
I gave you, Will, when you asked about that, was I said, well, sometimes you can make an audible, but what if you don't have the right personnel on the field to really change the play? What if you out there with 2 tight ends and you don't have, Yoshi and Uno and T. Higgins on the field at that time?
Do we have any timeouts? You think Joe gonna get in trouble for calling a timeout? He don't like what he see.
Trouble.
Yeah, you gonna get reprimanded.
But you don't always want to burn those timeouts either.
But you in the clutch right there, big dog. You in the clutch right there, big dog. You walk up to the line. It's time to win the game. You don't like what you see. Uncle Tom would have called that timeout. Montana would have called that timeout. Elway would have called the timeout. I don't like what I see right now. If we run this play, they coming, boom, boom, boom. I ain't got no weapons on the court. They look. We got 2 tight ends. No Uno. Nobody in the game. Oh, they know what we about to do. We either going screen or we going run. It's over. Timeout. Come on, Zach.
So you still playing Joe for that game, even though so you still
no. Okay,
even though
I don't
had an opportunity to win.
So let me say this: it might seem like I was blaming Joe. The defense was horrible. They're the reason why they're the reason why they lost. The defense is the problem, but if y'all keep telling me that Joe is all things. So sometimes you got to win in spite of the problem. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Clutch moments outside of Sunday night. I've been asking everybody to tell me what was Joe's last clutch moment and clutch throw. And I told you it was against Kansas. It was against Kansas City. It was here. I think it was against Kansas City when he threw the snap to T. Higgins to close the game. It was like a 3rd and 8, drop back, fired it in. T caught it. They won the game. Clutch. Outside of Sunday night, I haven't seen Joe in a clutch moment like that. I've seen Joe play great. I've seen Joe win games, but when it was needed, Sunday night was the last time since what's the name? And that's why my status on Facebook was great pass, Joe. I ain't got nothing to say.
Calvin Hill at, man? He ain't been out here.
He at work.
But
I got something for him and Ashley Johnson. And everybody else that I screenshotted, I'm pivoting a little bit after that loss against Oregon on Saturday that had something to say, because I'm telling you, when stuff evens out and materializes the way it's supposed to and is going to this year, I got a hit list and I ain't letting nobody off the hook. People already don't
Okay.
like me because I speak my mind anyway, but if you don't like me
I ain't
now,
know Ashley hit
just
you either. Ashley hit you with some
but
mess too.
she didn't say it directly to me. It's just, well, I don't want
Well,
to
you
get
know
into
she
that.
fought. Never mind. I'll be quiet.
Yeah, because
Hey, though.
Calvin gonna get sensitive if I say something, so we'll just change the subject.
Hey, you know what? But y'all know why I like Zach though. You know why Zach
I
Mike?
don't, but I'm sure you'll
I
tell me.
respect. I respect Zach. He got up on the podium after the game on Sunday, and he admitted in front of the world, "Oh, I never got into a rhythm calling play calls. I called a bad game this game. Majority of the offensive struggles was on me." He stepped up after a win and took the blame, like you're supposed to. I respect Zach, man. How y'all keep getting mad at the second greatest coach in Cincinnati Bengals history, bro?
All right,
Stop saying that, bro.
Google
Stop
it.
saying
And
that. Would you stop saying that? The second greatest coach in Cincinnati is terrible. No, you better put him behind 2 or 3 other people because that's
Who?
terrible. Don't say that.
Google
Who?
admitted that he had a bad play call.
Who?
I can't listen to his voice after the game, but go ahead.
Yeah, I can't either.
Oh,
That's
hold
my
on,
thing.
hold on. Sam, we got Sam is the greatest, right?
Yes.
You don't like Marvin Lewis at
No.
all. That's
No.
what it
I am a
is.
huge
You don't like
time
Marvin
out.
Lewis, bro.
Time out, man. Me and Alex knows that I'm one of the true Bengals fans.
Bro, I'm older than you, so I'm
I'm
true
talking
to this
about
too.
I just said I'm one of the true Bengals fans. I'm talking about me and Alex used to go to school and be heartbroken after
Yeah,
losses,
for
walking
sure.
into
I was
school
like
on
that
Monday. Like
6th
real
grade on
talk.
up.
I rock with Marvin. I think Marvin changed the culture of Cincinnati football. I
So
don't
why
care.
won't you give
And
him the 2 spot then, Will?
I mean, he ain't win no playoff games. Zach won 3 in 1 year.
Me and Murph Lee, I believe it was, were the only people to rock authentic Bengals jerseys before Ocho got there. I had the authentic Tequila spikes. Murph Lee had Darnay Scott on.
Yeah, I better say I remember you having the Achilles. I don't know why you got an Achilles, but you had the Achilles.
We ain't gonna talk about that. But
So do you think the Bengals gonna turn it around?
I think they can. With the schedule, yeah, I think they can.
what do you call turning around though?
Yeah, I was gonna say that's a good question too.
I think they got. I think they got to make it to New Orleans.
I hope I'm wrong when
Baby,
I
hey,
say
you
that.
think the Bengals got to make it to New Orleans this year? They got
I
to get
hope,
to the playoffs, or do they need to make it to New Orleans?
I hope I'm wrong, but I say the Bengals probably finish in 10-7.
10-7.
Yeah.
I think they got to make it to New Orleans. But I do think, and I know this ain't gonna happen, but Mike Brown, Katie, they gotta go. They gotta make a trade, man. The defense needs help. We either
we
need
need a corner.
to make a
We need a
trade.
corner and a defense end.
You don't need no
D,
corner,
No,
man.
a
You
tackle. I'm sorry, defensive
got
tackle. I'm sorry,
DJ
Al.
Turner,
Let
man.
me correct myself.
You got DJ Turner out there, man. From
here you go. I think they need a defensive end.
ah!
I think they need a defensive end,
You about to,
and I
hey
think they
Al, you
need to
about to
get.
make me go refill my
I just want them to
drink.
get. I'll be honest. If they got rid of Pratt, I'd be so happy.
Pratt ain't
You
been
already
productive
done
this
lost
year.
Dax Hill for the year, man.
Pratt
No,
ain't
but
been
I do
nothing
think
this year.
they need to make a. I don't think they're gonna make a play for a DB, but I do think they need to make a play for a defensive end. I think they have to go outside the box in order to get where they want to. It's gonna be tough. You're not gonna have this caliber of offense again, where you have a great quarterback. You have an amazing, great wide receiver, And on the other side, you got a very good to great co-star at the wide receiver spot. I'm sorry, man. The Bengals got to go outside the box and make a play. I mean, they got to make a
I
move,
love
man.
T. Higgins, man. And I really think the Bengals are making a mistake by letting him go next year. That's all I'm going to say.
I do too.
Yeah, for sure.
See Joe Shiesty. I think Joe Shiesty, he will restructure his contract to make sure he keep both of his receivers here. He gonna get his money on the back, but I can't count a man pocket. But blonde hair Joe, Republican Joe, he gonna get
Oh,
his
no, you
dough,
said
baby.
Republican Joe?
He
That's
gonna
crazy.
get
Me
his
and we
dough.
already
That's crazy work.
me and we already talked about this though. What if Joe is willing,
Republican Joe?
before we get into that, what if Joe already is willing to do that, but the organization has already made up their mind? Because I asked Will that too when we had that hour-long discussion. Because that's a very real thing. Just like they had
You know
already
what?
made up in
What
their
if he
mind that they were
finagled the
moving on.
system, though?
They
What
were
if he
moving,
finagled the system?
they made up their mind that they were moving on from Tyler Boyd. They made up their mind they were moving on from Jesse Bates. Yeah, this has happened before. We're gonna
think they
resign
can?
Uno next offseason. Got Chris Taylor in the house.
What's up, Chris?
See that picture that Chris got right there? That's the Super Bowl blueprint.
Yeah, it is.
I said if
Not blonde hair Joe. Y'all keep man, listen. Until we get that blonde out of his
all
hair,
cut
he
their
ain't
hair
gonna, it
for a
ain't gonna be
reason,
right,
bro.
bro.
just keep T. Higgins, Jamar Chase, and Joe Burrow, figure the rest out.
Now, see, you hearing. So I don't want to hear nothing about not having Jesse Bates. I don't want to hear nothing about having no DJ Reader. I don't want to hear nothing about none of that. He just said keep them three together, led by Joe Burrow, and that's how figure the rest out. So that's what they doing. So stop.
They already let
trying to.
other people go.
They got to, because you got to pay them guys. You know how the salary cap work. And them guys want top tier dollars. It ain't like
we
it
gave
ain't.
naming rights to Paycor for the stadium for that
They gave a
extra
lot of money to
stuff.
pay Core. They gave a lot of money to pay.
But it's still a salary cap. That's what I'm saying, man. And it's a hard cap.
But you know what? And I don't like doing this because it's always gonna get twisted. And the national media will say this stuff about the Bengals, some of which is true, some of which is not.
The Bengals ain't cheap.
They're not, to an extent, they're not. But they also don't get close to going over the salary cap and will not, because it's part of how they do business.
Yeah.
What's the guy that be on Coward show, Al? He said something about the Bengals being cheap.
But see,
that's a lie.
Not though.
That is a lie.
They will pay their stars. Here's the problem. This is what Carson Palmer said. They'll take care of them. They'll take care of Ocho, Big Willie, Corey Dillon, blah, 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 all of them. It's always been that way. Boomer, going back to all they'll take care of them. What about Hushmanzada? What about Marvin Jones? What about keeping Takeo and Brian Simmons at linebacker? Will they make that second move to put you over the top? That is what we don't do here.
But my thing is, or maybe he need to talk with Jeffrey Lurie and figure out how he does it, because he's the only person I know that signs everybody out.
Yep.
All the time. Like Jeffrey Lurie, he keeps his player. But that's true, Chris. That's true. Y'all be thinking I be hating on Joe. Y'all think I be hating, man. I really like Joe. I just hold him accountable. But it's hard to keep all of those top tier players. It's hard.
The Lurie is that you just brought up. This is the only thing, and I everybody knows. Look, I saw Miss Blackburn at Kroger, and I went up to her and told her I'm a big fan, because I am. I also don't criticize Mr. Brown the way other people do here in Cincinnati. But the difference is the Brown family's fortune all revolves around schools and football. That is how Paul made his money, is through this business. These other owners like Mr. Lurie and stuff, they stepped to the table with chicken already. They were
For sure.
already billionaires based
They
on
already had the $1 billion dollar.
that they own. So the value of the Bengals franchise itself has gone up, but not necessarily revenue to the point where they can just ball out the way some of these other owners can. Like they're worth, like I think they said Mr. Brown is worth, and I don't want to say only, but like he's worth like 980 million or something like that.
Oh, so he ain't quite there yet.
That's what I'm saying. Like these other owners, it's ridiculous. Like Mark Cuban, the rest of them, it's a different sport. Like if you see what they are worth sometimes versus the Bengals or the Brown family, you'll see the difference. Now, they're still wealthy. They can still do what they need to do, but it's still a difference when you already are a billionaire and you step into the table with chicken.
That's true.
So my question is there any way outside of Joe restructuring his contract that the Bengals can bring Higgins back and re-sign Chase?
Some people have to take less.
They have enough money to do it, but you know what's going to happen though? They would have to give up somebody like Trey Hendrickson and some of these other people.
He the only pass rusher that we got. So that's what I'm saying. Like, but that's the GM job. GM job is to figure it out. But
Duke Tobin.
you got to figure it out. But at the end of the day, I'm just like, because I look at my fear for T is he gonna turn into Calvin Ridley. Meaning that you go and get your bread in Tennessee, but look who your quarterback is. So now you ain't got no catches, this, that, another. You're looking back. You look at Devontae. Devontae, before he went to the Vegas, he was the best receiver in the NFL. When he got a different quarterback, went from top 5 to not top 10 and not mentioned at all. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what I fear for T. I feel for T gonna go somewhere like the Giants and be stuck with Daniel Jones
and not be happy. He gonna go somewhere and not be
happy, and then everybody gonna then say you got overpaid and this is that another. So sometimes the fit is the true reward, and you might have to, take a couple. You might have to do the Bobby Smurder deal.
I definitely feel like somebody's been talking to him. Somebody's already been talking to him.
You heard his agent say, legacy can't feed my client's family and blah, 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 all that. That bread can, but like you said, I've seen a lot of number 2 wide receivers go elsewhere. And I'm talking even going back to Alvin Harper, but I remember Juju.
Yeah, because he went to the Cardinals, didn't he?
Yeah, Juju Smith, no, he went to Tampa Bay after that.
He went to Tampa Bay after Dallas.
Boys, yeah, creamsicle Tampa Bay. You got to make that.
And they shipped him out after when they brought Tom in. Shipped him out after that.
Nah, man, that's way before Tom, man.
No, way before Tom.
No, they shipped him out. He was part of Tom going down there, bro. He was down there 3 seasons.
We're talking about Alvin Harper that played.
We're talking about Alvin Harper that played for the Cowboys.
I'm thinking about the other wide receiver.
Michael Irvin.
Yeah, my bad.
Yeah.
No, but I'm saying like even Juju Smith was good in Pittsburgh when he had Antonio Brown on the other side of it.
Yeah.
Dare I say I love him to death, but Hush learned this stuff.
I was about to say that too. Yeah.
Without Ocho on the other side. Marvin Jones left AJ Green and disappeared.
Mm-hmm.
Bengals actually did offer him the same thing as Detroit, but he went to Detroit because he wanted to be the man after Megatron retired.
Yeah.
So it's not always greener on the other side, but T is gonna do what he feels is best for himself and his family, and he's gonna get his bag, and we'll see you know what happens.
I know they better beat Cleveland Sunday.
Cleveland with Deshaun Watson. Did they really trade Amari Cooper?
Oh, wait, hold on. Let's not get to
They
Deshaun
traded
Watson
you.
first.
Yep.
Let's not get to Deshaun first.
They traded Amari Cooper
They
to
got
the
rid of
Jets.
Cooper today.
Did he go to the Jets?
No,
He
Cooper went to Buffalo.
he
Devontae went to
Buffalo
the
with Josh
Jets.
Allen.
Devontae went to the Jets. That's nasty.
And hold on, shout out. And he was on Pat McAfee today. He was at Aaron Rodgers' house. This is already
I don't know why
premeditated.
people love dude, and I try not to, be a hater.
Aaron Rodgers is
Who,
the
Aaron
most
Rodgers?
selfish. I'm gonna say some realness. He's the
That's my
most
favorite
selfish
quarterback ever.
McAfee, I don't
quarterback we've
know why
ever
people
experienced.
like Pat McAfee. That's what I'm saying.
Oh, I'm about
Dog,
to say Aaron Rodgers is my favorite quarterback ever.
Just because he wears
he's the
sleeves,
most selfish quarterback we've
says
experienced, bro.
obnoxious stuff and cusses, like does not mean that he's good.
Pat McAfee,
Listen,
hey man, I'm
I
sorry, he
agree.
connected. I agree, but he connected.
So was a dude that made Barstool and invented that, and like I said again, don't mean that you're talented.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, being entertaining is the talent now. You don't necessarily have to have talent or be knowledgeable. As long as you
ain't about
entertaining,
talent no more.
as long as you entertaining,
Get on
you
there
don't
and
have to
say
get.
whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Now there were a lot of trades today, and movement in the NFL that's going to be interesting. But what I wanted to end with is my beloved Cincinnati Bearcats basketball team is going
Top
to start
20.
the season ranked number 20 in the AP
Yep.
poll. Things are going back to the way they were when we was kids. And everybody fought me on this, and I got so much crap from people that were prisoners of the moment and talking about Luke Fickle and blah 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 blah. And I tried to tell everybody that my alma mater is still a basketball school,
We are.
and the pendulum is moving back in that direction. Man, I was right again. Y'all welcome.
Hey man, UC gonna be all right.
They
UC
are.
gonna be all right. They got to do better in conference play this year, but I think they're a little they hungry. They got something to prove, so I think they'll be there. I think
I
they
feel
got
bad
some.
for Tyler McKinley being out for the season.
Yeah, I just seen that.
The local kid that was actually gonna get some burn as a freshman.
What happened to him? I ain't read the rest. I seen
Hurt
it
his
out.
foot or ankle in practice or whatever, and he's out for the year. But
I mean, he must have broke it
looking for the other Cincinnati kid to make a big impact this year,
for
and
sure.
Yep.
Rayvon Griffith.
Yeah, man, I think he hungry. I know he been working. I know he been getting his work in, getting better. I look for him to be a great defensive player
Yeah, he'll
that
be a
will
big
transition.
defensive piece.
Yeah, that will transition into a lot of transition points, and I think he prime and ready you know to put the city on his back and do well for Cincinnati, man. I just think they got an overall real good team. I think they deep. I think they can be. I think they can upset some people.
Shout
I
out
don't know if
to
they're.
Dylan Mitchell. Shout out to what's my man Arrington Page transferred in from USC.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, Jizzle's back. The guy that I'm really expecting to be the man this year is Dan Skillings.
Yeah, I'm about to say. I knew he was going Dan.
I think Dan's gonna take over.
They said he looked good this summer too.
Aziz is back in the post this year. They got a good team, and it's put up or shut up for Wes Miller also, who
For
I
sure.
am a fan of, and I believe is a good coach, but he's got to beat Xavier.
Yeah.
This year.
He ain't got one over them yet.
We got to beat Xavier. Let's start there. So
Didn't
last
they
thing
get? We got popped last year, didn't we?
yes. Last thing, well, we hadn't beat Xavier at Centos since 2001
Yeah.
with Steve Logan. That was the last time and the only time that we won at Centos. That's
Yep.
crazy. Last thing I want to end with. Will, who are the top 2 NBA duos of all time?
That's a great question. That's tough.
And don't say Penny and Shaq.
I wasn't, but the crazy thing is that was the first name that popped in my head though.
I already knew. Mine low key crazy. I ain't even gonna hold it.
I think mine Jordan and Pippen. I think you may have to go Shaq and Kobe because I'm thinking about the other duos.
Yeah, we only talking about duos.
Yeah, most of them was big threes, to be honest.
Yep.
So Will goes Jordan and Pippen, Shaq and Kobe. Nate?
I agree. I ain't even gonna hold it. Jordan, Pippen, Shaq, and Kobe, and then my third one though is gonna throw everybody off. Rashard Lewis and Ray Allen.
Hey,
Just
man.
imagine if they had the right point guard and the right big.
Hey man, you talking about if they're not better than Stockton and Malone?
We talk about
Anyway.
Stockton and Malone, Duncan and Robinson.
Hey,
excuse my
I
friend.
wouldn't even
F all
pick
them, bro.
I wouldn't even pick
They
them
was
over
some killers,
GP
bro.
and Sean Kemp, man.
They was some killers, bro.
They wasn't better than GP and Sean Kemp.
I wouldn't pick them over. I would pick them over Giannis and Middleton, bro.
I would pick them over the Splash Brothers, man.
Yeah, bro. Like, what you tripping?
I used to play with them on Live 95, 90, whatever.
We ain't saying who you like. This man said Rashard Lewis and Ray.
Oh well, top 3 is
they ain't better than Joe Dumars.
The top 3. If we ain't doing
like,
that,
they ain't even better than Joe.
Favorite. I just did.
They ain't even better than Barkley and Marley, or Barkley and Kevin Jones.
Man,
Barkley and Thunder Dan.
Man, you acting crazy.
He talking about some Rashard Lewis.
I did what I did my favorite right there. That was my favorite. But nah, if you talking about like the best overall, like you got to put Karl Malone and Stockton. You got to put Hakeem and whoever he had down there. It's a list. I just threw my favorite out there to ruffle some feathers.
Wilt, Jerry West.
Yeah, right.
You said Will. You said who?
Wilt and Jerry West.
Did you see them play, Will?
What about Bird and McHale?
Live? No. You said Bird and McHale?
Yeah.
Bird and McHale.
Yeah? This man said Rashard Lewis.
Nobody mentioned Magic.
It was live. I love watching them play.
But see, the reason why I don't say Magic and Kareem though is the same reason I wouldn't say Bird and McHale, because they had a third piece. Like, it's hard to leave out Worthy from Magic and Kareem.
James Worthy.
You know what I'm saying?
A third and a fourth.
Because if that's the case, I'm gonna say Steph and KD.
Right. You can put them in that category.
But you know what? Another player that don't get enough credit, the first Bulls three-peat, Horace Grant was technically the
third piece. Yeah, he was.
And he got 4 rings too.
Yeah, he got 3 with the Bulls, 1 with the Lakers. But he
and Rodman being the third piece on that second three-peat. Don't make that face. Dennis Rodman is one of the greatest players of all time.
No, I'm not making that face because I wouldn't necessarily equate him into a big 3. I think he is
I think Kukos was the big 3 in that one in the second round.
No,
nah, he wasn't over Rodman. I think Jordan Pippen.
Yeah, because see, people equate that to you always have to be a scorer to be.
No. Well, I'm not one of those people. I think I think the problem with the NBA now, I think the problem with basketball now is that because of social media and videos, we have eliminated the importance of the role player.
Yeah, that's true.
And that's why basketball is at an all-time high for being selfish. People don't take pride in defense or rebounding because it don't necessarily show up on the stat sheet. Like, you used to get kudos for being a hustle player. Like, you used to stay on the court.
Yeah.
And we don't value that no more because we eliminated the role player. the importance or the coolness. That's why you got people in the world saying Draymond Green sucks.
Everything's 3-and-D or an alley-oop.
Yeah, nah, you can't say guys like Draymond Green or Dennis Rodman, anybody like them suck. They play their role, they do it to the best of their ability, and they are winners. Like most of our great role players are winners because they add that little nuance into your team to make you a winning organization.
And y'all don't know, I'm tipping Will's hand this year, man. He gonna do the Nolan Richardson 60 minutes of hell this year, man. He
Are
pressed.
you
We ain't
adopting
got
that
no
this
choice.
year? Oh, I gotta be there.
We ain't got no choice.
He
They
pressed even after made baskets, the old Bobby Huggins stuff.
listen, man. If I played for my team right now, I'd be the power forward.
Yeah, that's
We
a
little.
fact. For real. Oh, small.
We little, but man, we
I'm gonna
should. We
ask
just
you
gotta.
something off record too when we get off here. I gotta ask you a
All
question.
right, that's fine. But we just gotta on our end, man. We just gotta embrace winning, embrace the challenge, and understand that ain't nobody gonna take us lightly. Ain't nobody walking in there taking us lightly. So we got to be ready to play at a pace and at a speed and with the confidence to continue to be successful, man. But it ain't gonna be easy. Like I tell everybody, man, we either gonna be surprisingly good or we gonna be very, very bad. No
Well,
middle ground with us.
that's my suggestion, Will. Although I'm not a hooper and I know the game, but obviously not to the extent that you and others on your staff do. Just press, man. Just press. I'm serious, man.
Put the press on.
Y'all gonna have to outwork people, man. Use the
Now we got to.
use
We
the
got to.
athleticism that you do have to your advantage. But so we're gonna get ready to get off of here, folks. Please remember to follow Factual Opinions on Instagram. Check out the audio files that will be uploaded to iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify. Everywhere where you need to be as far as podcasts are concerned. So if you see the brown the brown Bruce Wayne Big John out, please get his brother a hug. Uplifting, encouraging. He got the juice, even though he don't think he does.
He just gotta drink it.
He's gonna be all right. We're gonna get him back on here after he sorts some stuff out. I gotta go make me a drink like Nate did, man. So
Y'all be out here for 2 hours on a school night, man. That's crazy.
I know.
2
So
hours on the school. After I said I was getting off early tonight.
Appreciate Brother Will for stopping through.
Thing for y'all, man. Love y'all boys.
Appreciate you, bro. Love you too, bro.
We'll try and do it better the next time.
For sure.